Yo, dudes, B-Man from Verdicks. I'm here with Nick and Denny. And tonight, something's really bugging me, and it's really bothering Denny, too. You want to tell us about it, D-Man?
Yeah, man. So being here located in the Northeast, we are often during the wintertime subjected to snowstorms. Should be a well understood rule as to how clearing your property and preparing in advance of the coming snowstorm works. It really bugs me. It really hit hard 2 weeks ago or about a week ago when we had a major storm blow through. 24 hours goes by. 24 hours is what you get to clear your sidewalks, make a passable way. And I'm walking the dog and I come across a property and it's corner property. And these people haven't even bothered to clear anything more than their driveway. You buy a corner property, you assume the fact that you are going to be responsible for clearing all of that snow because you own all of that sidewalk. You wanted all the property because it's normally the biggest lot on the block. You have to own up to it and take care of business. These people literally 12 inches of snow the entire length of their sidewalk.
Are they elderly?
Brand new to the house, like young couple.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I fall, Nick, because this is the same in my community. You have 24 hours to clean your walkway. In my community, what's interesting is there are only sidewalks on one side of the street. It happens to be the side of the street that I occupy.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the snow, so I don't mind going and clearing it out and usually doing a neighbor's or two. But there are houses, and it's been the same houses for the last 10 years, where they make absolutely no effort to clean their walkway. And I don't understand why. That's all I really want to know. I don't care that they don't. I can walk around. I'll walk in the street with the dog. I just want to go up and knock on their door and say, why are you disregarding this? What kind of savage animal are you? And I do consider all of those things. Perhaps they're sick. Perhaps they're elderly. But when you live in a community for a long time, you do recognize the people. And these are healthy people I'm speaking of. They're fully capable of having barbecues and everything else when that time is appropriate. But when it comes to snow removal, they just shut it down.
So it's been forever since I've experienced the snow, but do they do their driveway as well?
Some do, but most don't.
So they just make the overall situation miserable for themselves. So like if their driveway's a mess, do they park in the street or do they just ramp it up an unpaved driveway?
It's usually ramped it up the unpaved driveway.
Wow.
Or just enough to get themselves, out of their parking spot, but not enough that anybody could use the sidewalk safely. And the idea is that children need to walk on the sidewalk to get to the bus stop. People walking their dogs should be walking. And I've been in that situation where I had to go into the street and there was a car coming. And now I have a dog, an icy street, and a car. Yeah, and so there is a legitimate reason to have your sidewalks cleared. And again, the corner properties are the worst. I completely agree with you, Denny.
Yeah.
You own that corner, you have to get a snowblower. Sorry.
Yeah. And Nick, you kind of alluded to one of the next topics is you asked if they park at the street. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I lived on a street that in the last house, snowstorm would be coming. The neighbor put his cars at the street on purpose. And he told me it was because he didn't want the plows getting too close. He liked clearing his walkway and everything himself. So he intentionally screwed everyone else by putting 2 or 3 cars out along the sidewalk. Now the plow can only get by one width. He plows in my driveway that much further. Now when I bring my car out of the driveway and go to park at the street, I now have to clear that much more snow.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that luxury of, working part-time and having a snowblower either. You just create a whole lot more work just being ignorant. And there are people now that I noticed in the new neighborhood, they do it as well. And they live on a corner on the main road through the neighborhood. And they park on the opposite side of that main road. Just so that they can clear their own space and not have to, jockey cars around. But you're inconveniencing everyone else by doing it. Because the plows can't do their job.
What you need is a hot rod plow guy that just plows that car in and does everybody else a solid to teach him a lesson. But the one thing that I don't understand too is like, once you drive a car over like powdered snow, you've just created, if you decide to go back and clear it, you've just created yourself so much more work.
Yeah, that's a nightmare that people don't understand.
Ice, it's heavy at that point. You don't get it off well. You have to scrape it instead of just being able to shovel it lightly. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah. I guess if at the end of the day, if I really cared, I could just talk to the township and say these houses refuse to. But it's not that important to
Yeah.
me. It's just one of these little,
Yeah.
little things that are bothering me,
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
been
it's called-
bothering me for a decade, and I just keep doing it.
It's respect, right? It's respect.
Well,
Just respect everybody else.
And here's the other thing. If you own a snowblower and you live in one of these standard sized neighborhoods where the houses are normally, your property line's 150 feet wide, you have a snowblower for a 2-car driveway and a little sidewalk, you can afford to hit your neighbors' houses. When my snowblower was up and going, like, it's out, I dug it out, I went through the process. I'm not just making a 150-foot wide pass and then I'm done. I'm going to go up, I'm going to get my neighbor who has a bad knee. I'm going to get the other guy who normally races me to do it. And I'm going to do a couple houses. I saw houses this past snow, and it was literally, where the old couple lives. People just cleared right up to the property line.
Yeah.
And luckily someone who did mine, my one neighbor had done mine for me. So then I went over and did his because I felt bad. It just doesn't feel right. You have the equipment, you have the means of doing it. Unless your neighbors are total chodes, help them out.
The world is a much different place than what we grew up in, man. There's a much more selfish, self-centered view on the world. There's not a very big communal effort like there was in the past, man.
Yeah. So make an effort. Try to clear
Sad.
somebody's sidewalk.
Be a good neighbor.
Yeah, just be a nice neighbor.
Be a good person.
Yeah, God, just
Only
be
put your trash
Just be a
out.
good person.
Yeah, look, trash only goes out 6 o'clock the night
Here
before.
we go.
Well,
clear
you're
the
wasting
snow,
content here. This is
blow
a
the
whole other
leaves.
topic.
I hate neighbors.
All right. Well, this just in.
Hope they don't
Denny's
watch
angry.
this.
All right. Well, definitely clear your driveway, help people out. And until next time, shields up.
Shields up.